The NFL knows that the biggest offensive threat coming into the season was Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. Knowing that he had some injury things going on during training camp and into the season, those teams were feeling a lot better about the Super Bowl contending San Francisco 49ers. Well, Frank Gore was on 95.7 The Game, and you're going to love what he said about the players taking care of business while CMC is taking care of his Achilles. If you're new here, I'm Nate. I love talking about the 49ers. Please consider a like and sub. I very much appreciate it. Jordan Mason, despite only playing half of the game on Thursday, still sits second in yards by a nice margin, like 125 yards higher than the third biggest rusher so far this season. JP has 609 yards on 114 attempts, averaging 101.5 yards per game. He's getting looks in the passing game every week now, so that jugs machine's helping him out. There's still plenty of room to grow in that particular area of his skill set. And for Kyle Shanahan, the game plan. Arguably, his best rushing game was going to happen against the Dirty Hawks, on pace for $150 on 64% less carries than his best game this season against the New York Jets, when he rushed 28 times for 147 yards and a TD. Frank Gore ran the football nearly 4,000 times in his career. He rushed for 16,000 yards and ran past the pylon 81 times. The 49ers' 2005 third-rounder caught the ball for just shy of 4,000 yards, as well as another 18 tutties. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what the legendary running back, third in all-time rushing yards, by the way, Hall of Fame bound, what he had to say about 49ers' own draft picks and UDFA, specifically Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerendo, Deebo Samuel. These guys are running the ball in Christian McCaffrey's stead. And, of course, Brock Purdy gets a mention in there as well. Frank Gore, let's start with Jordan Mason. Frank Gore, what do you think about Jordan Mason so far this season?
Well, I think he's doing everything well, man. And me being there at training camp, I saw how hard he's been working in training camp. So I'm really not surprised about like what he's doing in the field on this year. In the NFL, man, you're here for a reason. And I think we got a good eye with picking guys to be on our team, and we got a good guy, at that position who behind Christian. And I think Christian did a great job by being a lead dog to show the younger guys what it takes to be the guy. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's having success, And Kyle, man, one of the best play callers ever to call in the NFL, man, I think. And that helped him out a lot. And I just think he's taking full advantage of this opportunity, man. He's doing a great job. But I'm not.
So, and he ends there saying, not surprised. Sorry to cut him off there. So, number one, not surprised. Frank Gore says, not surprised. And I got his take on Isaac Guerendo, Brock Purdy, and Deebo Samuel coming in a second here. But not surprised by how good Jordan Mason is playing. And he referenced training camp. Anybody who watched anything during training camp, all of us, we're all thinking the same thing. We agree, Frank. We were not at all surprised by how Jordan Mason is running the football when we saw what we saw during training camp and in the preseason. We were all very optimistic about what this guy was going to be able to achieve. I suppose there's still a little bit of surprise for me in the New York Jets game that he ran so well against such an incredible run defense, or at least what we thought was going to be an incredible run defense. Love that he gives credit to Christian McCaffrey, all by the way, of setting the tone and how he is helping those younger players see what it takes to be a top running back in this league. I'm sure Jordan Mason would give him a massive amount of credit, and someday at the end of his career, he'll probably look back on what Christian McCaffrey did for him in his career and how that was a factor. Kyle Shanahan as a play caller, a lot of people like to be negative on Kyle Shanahan. I understand some of the criticisms there and some of the clock management things and some of that stuff, right? Some of the big games that are lost. I get that, all right? Everyone wants to get the monkey off the back and win the Super Bowl, okay? We're all on the same page on that one. But what I will say about Kyle Shanahan's play calling, I do think he's a great play caller. He doesn't get enough credit for his play calling and running plays. How he uses running plays and how he schemes running plays is definitely elite. And that's something that makes a big difference for guys like Jordan Mason running for this football team versus another. So we're going to give him credit there. How about Isaac Guerendo? He's just a rook, right? He's working to earn his place on this football team still, okay? So every time I talk about Isaac Guerendo, I get people commenting saying, oh, he's a bad runner. He's not going to be good, yada, yada, yada. That's fine, all right? But don't come at me like I'm telling you he's the best running back on planet Earth, because I've never once said that. I don't know why it seems to be. If I talk about Guerendo, everyone thinks I'm talking about the second coming. He's had a couple games, okay, with a few looks. He had 2 games where he had 1 rush, 2 games where he had 5 rushes. That second game where he had 1 rush was his 3rd game ever playing in the NFL, and it comes after the game that he fumbles on the special teams. So you understand why he only got 1 look that game, perhaps. But he's got 10 carries for 99 yards in this last game. Okay, granted, one of those was a 76-yarder. Okay, so, I guess that pats the stats there. But it was his first game with an actual shot to gain a rhythm, to actually start to find the comfort and finding the hole. So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit for that. All right, we'll give Kyle some credit there too. And I want to know what Frank Gore has to say about Isaac Guerendo. Here's Frank Gore's take on the young rookie.
I think him having some success last week, he should feel great and have a chip on his shoulder and can't wait till Sunday. And I think, for me being around him, not just in training camp, but training with him in Miami a little bit, trying to get him right for training camp. Great kid, also a hard worker, and I think that room, man, just with the coach they got who teaching them the position, I think they all have a chance, man. And Kyle, do a great job of putting them in space, getting them creases, and the O-line doing a great job, man. So I just think either to have even a bit more chip on the shoulder to touch the ball this week and help us get this win on Sunday coming.
Absolutely.
And I respect that take as well, by the way. I think that it's helpful to remember what plays like that do for the player. The confidence boost Isaac Guerendo got from that 76-yard run is going to have knock-on effects for the next several games, where he's going to get looks and he's going to act like he's going to think he's about to hit that next hole for that next big yard run. And that's where you have a 220-pound lightning quick running back does make a difference in those types of scenarios, right? So I'm excited to see what he can do there. But I want to point out what Frank Gore said about, he mentioned Kyle, but he also mentioned the offensive line. And the offensive line has a lot of holes in it. And I think that's, and has for a long time. And I think that's why we don't give them the credit they're due in the running game, because there are definitely times, and Dominic Pooney's not hurting us right now when it comes to the rushing game. He's been a nice addition. But there are times where the offensive line is hated on because of their weak pass protection. Guys like Colton McKivitz giving up, turnstile kind of playing, right? But not enough credit at times for what they do in moving and creating gaps for the run game. So I want to give, I appreciate Frank Gore, giving them credit for what they're doing with the run game this season so far. Big fan of that as well. I still think that there are issues that need to be solved. And next offseason, we're hoping that you're drafting some guys that are going to start improving that offensive line. I think we're close to a great offensive line, but you're a Trent Williams away from being a really bad offensive line as a whole, because he's going to retire. At some point, he's going to retire. And he says he's not going to retire next year, but I would understand why he might say that now and might feel differently after the Super Bowl, right? So all that being said, all right, I'm sorry I said Super Bowl. I shouldn't have gone there. I got ahead of myself. We have a long way to go at the end of this season, okay? At the end of the season. That's my wishful thinking there. So Frank Gore also talked about Brock Purdy, and then kind of it flows straight into a quick comment on Deebo Samuel. So I'm just going to play the whole clip so you can get both Brock Purdy take and Deebo Samuel. Here you go.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hey, Brock Purdy, I'm watching this guy right now, and you play with a lot of different kind of quarterbacks.
Brock Purdy, a baller, man.
Isn't he?
Stop sleeping on him. A baller. Bro.
Why do people, Frank? Like, what is it with? Because I feel like
people don't want to say they missed, man. So why they can't say they missed on him? They saying, well, I feel like all quarterbacks need ballers on the team to be successful. And he even been balling when our guys not healthy, man. He doing it with his legs, his arm. He a baller, bro. They got to start sleeping on my boy.
Yeah, I totally feel you. What about Deebo Samuel, too? Because I feel like every time we want to put Deebo Samuel in the casket, this guy pops up like The Undertaker and has a monster game.
Football, true football player, man. Could have played in any era. Tough. You just get him, put the ball in his hands, he going to make a play for you.
Which you
Could have played in any era. Put a ball in his hands. He's going to do something special for you. He's going to make a play for you. Also called Brock Purdy a baller, and called out everybody for sleeping on him. And we respect those takes, of course. We respect Frank Gore, don't we? My goodness, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments about this particular call from Frank Gore. Let me know what you guys are thinking about his take on Isaac Guerendo. I know you guys still want to see a lot out of Isaac Guerendo, and I'm with you there, all right? We saw a little flash, though. We saw a little flash of what's possible. So I'm hoping that that confidence boost is good for Isaac and he can get out there and continue to get some reps. The day Christian McCaffrey comes back healthy, whenever that is, all right, the football team's going to look different. So our opportunity to give Isaac Guerendo a shot happens right now. We saw how many looks Jordan Mason got in previous seasons. RB3 is tough when you're sitting behind, offensive player of the year caliber kind of player, right? So you add to that Jordan Mason's running incredibly well this season, and it's hard to see where Isaac Guerendo is going to get a whole lot of looks in the future. So this is an opportunity for him. Hopefully Jordan Mason's healthy. I don't want this game to rest on the shoulders of Isaac Guerendo, but he's the next man up. And if Jordan Mason's not ready to go on Sunday, I believe he's going to be ready to go. But if he's not ready to go on Sunday, then you're asking Isaac Guerendo to go in there and really start to figure this thing out. And I'm hoping that 76-yard run is a catalyst for what's about to come for his running back career. I look forward to seeing what you guys think in the comments. I'm reading those every day. I don't get back to them all right away, and I apologize for that. I'm trying my best here, but I read all the comments. I appreciate your guys' takes, even the ones that disagree with me. I'm more than happy to see those as well, because that's part of sport. That's part of what makes this fun. Everybody gets an opinion. We all get to talk about that team that we love to watch. It's a great time. It's a fantastic time. What a time to be alive.